Welcome, my friends. So today we're going to get into a very, very important topic, and that is the four mortal sins of divorce. This comes straight from the Gottman Institute research. He calls them the four horsemen of divorce, coming from the four horsemen of apocalypse. If you're a Christian or someone who's brought up evangelical, you know all about those. So what I'm going to share with you today is some very, very important information on how you can prevent divorce. Gottman has discovered that he can prevent divorce with 95% accuracy after only watching a couple for 15 minutes. If they display any of these four behaviors, they're not going to last. And that's pretty sobering if you think about it. This guy can predict it that easily. If you're not familiar with his work, this is the gold standard in relationship research, the most scientific longitudinal studies taken place to do with love and marriage. So who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to you beautiful women who love the self-help, love learning all the things, but you're still not feeling cherished, loved, adored. You're not having the experience of marriage that you longed for, right? And you're ready for that. You want it, and you're willing to do what it takes to create that in your life, okay? I'm so excited for you. You're my people. I'm glad to have you here. So let's dive right in. What are the four horsemen of divorce? Comment below if you know them. If you've read 7 Principles That Make Marriage Work, put that in the chat, all right? But I'm gonna lay them out for you. I know some of you are gonna know because you're like me and you love to read all the things, which awesome. But I also know that we still have blind spots. So one of the mistakes that women like us can make is we read things and then we go, oh, my husband does that. Oh, he does that. We better stop or we're not going to last, right? And that's not what it's for. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to show you. I'm here to point a mirror. I'm here to show your blind spots. I'm here to show you like, hey, there's some ways that you could clean up your side of the street, because none of us are perfect. Your husband is not perfect and you're not perfect. And our mission here is not to become perfect. It's impossible. That's not happening anyways. But our mission here is to take stock of who we are, become the woman we want to become, and give our fullest hearts to our husbands, because this is the man that we want to have the deep love affair with. So number 1, mortal sin, criticism. Number 2, contempt. Number 3, stonewalling. And number 4, defensiveness. Now, because my work is gendered, I work with women only. I also talk a lot about how skills for making marriage work are different for men than they are for women. So if you were to guess and put this in the chat of those 4 behaviors that lead to divorce, which ones are more commonly practiced by men? Criticism, contempt, stonewalling, or defensiveness? Okay. And then which ones do you think are more commonly practiced by women? And just guess, no wrong answers. I'm going to tell you the answer, of course. Gottman does refer to this in his book in passing. He seems to be striving not to be gendered because that's not very politically correct. But he does admit that it is stonewalling and defensiveness that men will typically practice, and it is criticism and contempt that women will. Not saying men don't criticize women and vice versa, but this is just what is shown out as the generalities. So because of that, I'm going to talk to us women about criticism and contempt particularly. Okay, and what it looks like. Now we can I think of them as weeds. Like, it's like we have this garden. We want to have this beautiful garden, which is our love story, which is our marriage. And if we don't pull the weeds, they're going to grow. They're going to be huge, and they're going to overtake the fruit. They're going to overtake the flowers. They're going to overtake all the beautiful things that we've been trying to cultivate with our love. So often what I found is people want to know what they have to do to make their marriage better. And often you just have to stop doing a couple things and it gets way better. And the number 1 I would say is criticism. Okay. Criticism is very insidious. You might say to me like, well, I don't tell my husband bad things. I think he's a smart man. I think he's a good man. I don't go and tell him he's wrong or he's bad. Okay. But do you say, that's not where that goes? Do you say, that's not how you load the dishwasher? Do you say, do you nitpick? Do you henpeck? Those are micro criticisms. You're wrong. You didn't do it right. Okay. I want you to think into your own relationship about areas that you feel that urge to correct. You feel that urge to get in there and tell him how he's not doing it right. Okay. These things will kill your love. They're not even worth it at all. It's not even what matters. Women, when they come to me, they might think, well, it drives me nuts because he doesn't respect me, he doesn't put stuff away, makes a mess. And it's like, is that what this is really about? It's not what this is really about. That's what this marriage audit is for. Women think it's about the superficial things. But once they start getting the love they want deep in their hearts, those superficial things don't matter. It's like when you started your relationship, you're madly in love. Did you even notice that stuff? You didn't care. You were like, oh, he's so wonderful. He loves me so much. I'm so happy, right? So I want you to put in the chat the ways that you criticize, the ways that you nitpick, the ways that you correct. Even teaching is kind of can be like a criticism, right? It's like when someone's like, well, this is how you do it. Even if you say it with a nice like way, everybody knows that you're criticizing that person. Everybody knows that you're letting them know that they didn't do it right and they're not really doing anything right, right? Why did you park here? Questions. Women use questions as criticism. Why did you park there? Why didn't you get home at this time? Why didn't you call me? It's the energy that it comes from, right? And that's why in my work, we always go into energy. The words matter almost nothing compared to the energy. If you can get the energy right, you can almost say anything. But when we are using these nice little ways of talking, but they're actually criticisms, they're going to destroy our marriage. So criticism is number one. Number two, contempt. Now, contempt is a word that's not used colloquially, so people might be like, what does that really mean, right? Contempt means hatred. But one of the ways you'll see contempt come up is disgust, like an eye roll. It's like, ugh, right? That's contempt. It's like this person repulses you. Their behavior is ridiculous. Like, how could they be so dumb? Like it's like comes from contempt often comes from a place of superiority, right? Like you're looking down your nose at someone like, oh, give me a break, right? How many women roll their eyes at their husbands? How many women make a sport of rolling their eyes at their husbands? Their eyes are so far back in their head, you don't know if they'll come back again, It's like the big joke. Like we're all rolling our eyes at our husbands and we're looking at each other like, That's contempt, ladies. That's contempt. It's not funny. It's not funny. We think it's funny, but that's because we are repressing our rage, okay? A lot of the times when we're being dismissive of our husbands, when we're being contemptuous, when we're being disrespectful, it's because we're so pissed. We're so angry on a deep level, and we have not tapped that. We have not addressed it. We have not processed it, and we have not expressed it. So it comes out as jokes. Those jokes are not cool, and they're not going to help you get what you want. They will push your husband away. Okay? So watch out for the sighs, the eye rolls, the like, you would, typical, all that kind of stuff. Okay? It's really, not only is it disrespecting him, it's undermining your capacity to love and to feel love. So this is something that is never talked about in the relationships. I wish it was more, is a lot of women are not as much looking to receive love as to feel in love. Like we want to feel those bubbles, feel that happiness. And we're looking for him to create it in us. But when we entertain contempt and disrespect and this kind of superiority over our husbands, it destroys our ability to be in love. Let that sink in for a minute. You're ruining your own capacity to be in love by taking a tone, by taking an attitude with him. It's not even so much about, that's not meeting his needs, but it's not meeting your needs. To be the loving woman you want to be, to show up how you want to show up, to feel what you want to feel. So we got criticism, we got contempt, then we got stonewalling and defensiveness. So you can see how these dovetail together, right? When you use criticism and contempt, the other person feels attacked because they are being attacked. So they feel attacked. And then what they do, they either go into defensiveness and justifications and I didn't, and how could you say that? And you do those things too. And I was trying to do this and I didn't mean it. Or they just put on the stonewall. And people are like, oh, stonewalling, that's abusive. That person's a narcissist. It's like, that's a defense mechanism. And I'm not saying that, it's not bad and it doesn't cause divorce, because it does. I'm just saying that consider that perhaps you might use this tactic, or your husband uses stonewalling because you are flooded with stress hormone from being attacked by your beloved life partner. So if your husband is stonewalling, Conversation is over. It's not personal. Reel it back. Try again another time. He is feeling attacked. Now, you might be a little triggered right now. Like, what is this all my fault? Like, I got to like tiptoe around him and not piss him off and be so careful. No, no, no. We're not here to manage his feelings, but we're here to take radical accountability for how we express our feelings, needs, and desires. And that we don't do it using contempt, criticism. We don't do it that way because that will lead to a loss of love. Okay, so I could go on for hours about this, but I want you to understand that all this information is baked into everything I teach, okay? It's baked in there. I take it to such a high level because we don't want to just not get divorced. We want to be madly in love. We don't want to just stick it out for our kids. We want to be delighted to spend our whole lives with this person, to be excited to see them, to retain the passion, right? To be like, yes, empty nest, this is going to be great. Not like, oh my God, empty nest, what are we going to do? Right? I work with a lot of women in that stage of life. And it's never too late. It's so cool because it's never too late. Okay. So in my coaching and in my program, The Happily Married Woman, I teach you how to embody the skills that allow you to both receive so much more love and also feel that love in your heart, to experience in love, to experience, oh my God, what a wonderful relationship I have, adoration in your heart and admiration for your husband. So if this is something that you're like, yeah, this is cool, I got to try this out, click on the link, check it out, message me anytime with any questions you have. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, message me. I have a free consultation for those people. But don't delay. Like, you can really get what you need if you just are willing to step out and try something new. All right. Well, I'll see you next time with part 3, which is going to be on why friendship is not enough. Can't wait to see you.